Okay, this is just gonna be a random review because I just watched a movie that I have to share what I think of it, and I'm hoping that it gets the word out there a little bit more because this is the Brightburn review. This, dude, you want to talk about a brutal movie? This reimagining of a story that we've heard before. Now, people will say it's a Superman knockoff. So is Goku. So it doesn't matter, but it's a way of telling a story that gets people to kind of see what it is, but then changes the story, changes it up. Now, at the beginning of the movie, it is called a bit of foreshadowing, but it's actually more in your face foreshadowing. Like, this is what this movie's about, really quick, because the boy is in class now. We're told right at the beginning of the film that he's a very smart person. Like, he's not paying attention in class. Teacher, of course, calls on him, and he knows the answer. Not only does he know the answer, he goes into it a little bit more. Now, when he goes into it a little more, it basically shoves in your face what this kid is going to be, because we already know he's an alien, all that kind of stuff. Now, if you don't know too much about this movie, it's from the producer of James Gunn. I believe it was written. I just saw it. I just want to make sure as I'm saying it. Yeah, written by Brian and Mark Gunn. So this movie is an indie flick. And by the way, the song during the credits, oh my God, if I could play it, I would. But go check that out. That is actually a really cool song. I was enjoying the beat. But this movie, it's really interesting because, of course, in the Superman lore, um, Clark has his powers from the get go. Now, first of all, it changes it up quite a bit actually from the beginning. One, the spaceship looks like a freaking madhouse, like it looks psychotic when you actually get to see it in it. But when he gets thrown from Krypton in the Superman lore, because in this we don't actually really know what happened on his planet or why his parents are doing this. Again, we get kind of an explanation in school, which I'll go into that in a minute. But in most Superman lore, especially if you look into the movies where we've seen the impact, Clark is not a baby. Now, when they put him in the ship, he is a baby, but the ship keeps him alive, but he still ages. So usually when they get him, he's typically about 3 to 4 years old. And most of the time what you see in, like I said, especially the movies and the show Smallville, he lifts up the truck carrying Martha and uh, Thomas. Wait, that's not it. Jonathan, sorry. Thomas is Batman's uh, dad. But anyway, so he typically picks it up. This changes it quite a bit because he does not actually have powers. They're kind of inside of him still because they do go into the whole fact that he hasn't ever been cut, sick, or anything else. Like, they've never seen this kid bleed, which they go into that actually about halfway into the movie when the parents start kind of realizing what this kid is. But when they get him, he's a full-fledged baby. They actually begin the movie with, him coming to Earth and then kind of showing home footage of a baby crawling around and all that. And it's a very typical childhood. And what's kind of interesting in the trailers, it always seemed like the dad was just a complete and utter asshole. But in the movie, he's not. Actually, the stuff that you see in the trailer is caused by what is going on in the movie. Like him all of a sudden going, what's going on with this kid? Because of course in the trailer we see him with, I don't even know what her name is. I forgot the name already because I've only watched this once. This is legitimately the first, and I'm trying to remember everything real quick. But the Lana Lang character, and he basically crushes her hand. So we see that in the trailer, and that was the start of everybody kind of going, something's a little weird with this kid. But remember that thing I said at the beginning. So I decided that I am going to go into it. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, so bear with me. So in class, they're learning about bees and wasps, and they ask, what's the difference? And he says wasps are a little bit uh, more angry, more vicious, all that kind of stuff. But then he goes into a specific type of wasp that has no longer has the ability to create a hive. So uh, what this variation, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think, this version of wasps, this family of wasps do is they infiltrate other wasps, and then they put their young into that hive and make them basically feed their hive, and then when that thing grows up, it actually kills everything. There's the literally the foreshadowing, and it comes right at the beginning of the film before he ever actually kind of goes psycho. But like I said, it's really cool. And like I said, he has a typical relationship. Like he loves his parents, all that kind of stuff. And then what ends up happening is the spaceship kind of activates and causes him to kind of sleepwalk, and it starts messing with him. And then when he learns about his powers, he does the classic power corrupts, which I believe Lex Luthor in the Batman vs Superman said the absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is what basically what they did, and it's so very interesting, and just a really really good movie. And the thing of the matter is, this kid gets more brutal as it goes on. Oh my god, like this is disturbing, but it's disturbing in the right ways. Like some of the ways he kills people is so fucking crazy and creepy that it was just like, holy crap. And for me, I'm always doing multiple things. Like I'm playing a video game, I'm watching the movie, right? That's why I have two TVs literally set up right next to each other. And this movie caused me several times to stop what I was doing and kind of like really get involved in it. So that tells you that this movie captures me a little bit more than anything. And I'm not a huge Superman fan, as if you've seen any of my artwork, I actually don't have one Superman thing. I haven't ever bought a Superman, which is kind of interesting for me right now. I'm like looking around the room and I don't have any Superman anything. I know I do have shirts and jackets and everything because come on, they're cool. But as far as like my artwork and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, this movie is freaking dark, twisted, and this is the pure definition of disturbing. When you talk about a specific person, disturbing, which if you look at other people's reviews on another movie that I'm not going to mention here, they constantly use the word disturbing. And they need to go back to Princess Bride when Inigo Montoya tells the guy that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. People need to look up the definition of disturbing and realize that other movie is not disturbing, whereas this movie is disturbing. Holy fucking shit. But like I said, I absolutely love this movie. This telling of it, it was so well done, and I know it was made so on the cheap. Like this movie was made with so little money. This is like indie movie, indie movie. It's really, really good. But anyway, like I said, Brightburn, it's a new telling of an old classic. And like I said, I'm not even sure how, like my mind's still processing all the brutality that I just saw. And it's the kid literally figuring out his powers and all that. Now, this is a spoiler review. I should have said that at the beginning. But I decided this is going to be a spoiler review. I'm going to kind of put it in the comments and all that. But the ending of this movie, the way he ends up killing his mother is freaking insane. Now, originally, like, he breaks the girl's hand and then freaking he goes after the girl's mom because he clearly, like I said, it's definitely the Lana Lang-esque character, which we all know Clark Kent is actually, he fully loves Lana Lang. We played with that in several different iterations of him. So in his own sick, twisted way, he still loved the girl, even though he crushed her hand. So then he goes after the girl's mom and like freaking, they don't even find the mom's body. Like, it's crazy. Like, he breaks a freaking thing, it goes into her eyes, she pulls it out, and then like in a snap, he grabs a hold of her, and that was the end of the scene. Then his uncle, I thought he was going to kill his aunt. His aunt, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, she actually survives. So his aunt actually survives, but his uncle finds out about everything, and like he picks up the uncle's car and drops it, and when it does, the freaking the wheel just bashes him in the freaking jaw and dislocates his jaw and like literally pulls it from his cavity, and like I said, just completely and utterly brutal. And then, like I said, he saved the most brutal fucking killing for his mom. Now, at the end, they gave you this little kind of nugget that maybe she'll be able to defeat her son. And she figures out because earlier in the film, he drops onto the spaceship and it actually cuts him. Of course, Superman can only be killed by stuff from his home world. By the way, another weakness Superman has is magic itself. Zatanna Zatara can actually affect Superman, as well as villains that also use magic. So Superman's not invulnerable to everything but kryptonite. They just had to add a few things. And magic is very different than physical stuff. But anyway, so she figured that out. She grabs a piece of it, and as she's embracing him, you actually think she could have survived if she didn't do this, but she lifts it up and goes to stab him. The kid feels it, grabs a hold of her, and then he goes through the roof of the frickin' farmhouse, or the barn itself. And now, as he's going straight up in the air, you already see she's shredded. Like, the wood and everything clearly like cut the crap at her. She's bleeding everywhere. He flies her all the way up to almost the point where she can barely breathe, looks at her, and then just drops her ass. And you see in slow motion her go towards the cloud and kind of finally goes through it and just goes. And then ultimately the movie ends. The very next thing he does, he looks up, sees a 747, and uses that. This kid is actually, like I said, he's brilliant. They show that at the beginning. He uses it to make everybody think, oh shit, that's what happened to his mom and dad. That the 747 lost control somehow and crashed into the farmhouse. It's all over the place, and you see him like on the ambulance eating a freaking cookie. Why do I keep saying ambulance like that? Ambulance? Sorry, that happened to me at work the other day because there was an ambulance outside my job. But then, of course, it goes into news footages showing him really just destroying things with his powers, and I loved it. We had Mary Poppins himself. Frick, what's the guy's name? He actually played Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. He comes in as kind of a conspiracy nut, and then he refers to an Aquaman character and a Wonder Woman character, and then it pulls up and shows 3 other characters. One outfit looked similar to the Flash. Now, as far as I know, they're not going to make a sequel to this, but it would be really kind of cool to see like an evil Justice League like that. But I would actually like to see it that even as like an evil version, they still can't get along. So I would love to see them like kind of go at it. But anyway, I know I went into spoiler territory, but if you have not checked out Brightburn, freaking go get this movie any way you can see it, because this is a amazing movie. Like I said, reimagining, but dark as hell. Now, from this is the end of the review. I am probably going to do more reviews, because so far, all the movies I bought on Black Friday, I absolutely liked every single one of them, except for one. And I will break that one down later, because I decided while I was talking to a buddy that I am going to do a review on it, because the sad part is I think that movie could have been something so much better. But anyway, look forward to more reviews. I'll be doing them at random times because I can only go live. I can't record first with the programs I use. So anyway, like, subscribe, share. I already said comment below. And all my links are there. Daughter's Black Belt, my franchise. Everything is always below. And I will see you for the next movie review and my next show. Peace.